Well, hello, everybody. Mr. Mack here. So glad you're back. Tonight, we are going to read chapter 8. Actually, we're going to read chapter 8 and chapter 9. We left off chapter 7. Complete and total chaos. The Manticores, I'm having a problem saying Manticore. The Manticore's tavern up in flames. The Manticore, who had been a restaurant owner of a restaurant diner serving people and little kids and kids menus and blah blah blah, had released her inner monster, belching out fire. Now the whole place is on fire. It ended chaotically. Ian and Barley looking for the map to go get the Phoenix Gem because that's what they needed to finish the spell to bring Dad all the way back. But the Manticore wouldn't let him have it, remember? Manticore had it and kept it. So my prediction was, that was the end of chapter 7. My prediction was that the Manticore was going to give them the map, or they were going to get the map and finish and go on their quest. And maybe even, perhaps, the Manticore, now that she's a monster again, maybe the Manticore will go with them. So that was my prediction. That's what I thought. Think back to what you predicted, what you thought what would happen in the next chapter. And as we begin reading chapter 8 and as we get through it, we'll find out if we were right. And again, remember, even if we're not right, does it matter? No, of course it doesn't. We're making awesome predictions here. We're making educated guesses. We're using what we know to kind of piece together what's coming. We don't know what's in the future. We don't know what's going to happen, but we will right now. Chapter 8. Balloons popped and customers ran in terror, fleeing as the fire spread. Sorry, the karaoke machine is broken. Manticore lifted up the karaoke machine and thrust it against the wall. Snarling, she picked up and threw it into the flames. She dropped the map, and when she did, Ian dove for it, but not before the fire had caught it, and the map went up in flame. A heavy beam just then fell with a crash, just missing Ian and Barley. Everyone's around, screaming, trying to get out. And as the building began to crumble, they rushed towards the exit. But in the chaos, Dad was thrown to the floor, and another beam above him started to fall. And without even thinking, Ian lifted the staff and shouted, "Aloft, Elevar!" And a blast of light magically held the beam in midair. The beam floated inches above Dad. Ian strained to hold the magic steady. Barley rushed in and grabbed their dad, pulling him to safety. Ian released the beam and it crashed to the floor. They hurried out of the burning tavern with Barley carrying Dad over his shoulder. Safe inside the van, Barley pulled away from the building and headed down the road, and he let out a relieved laugh. "That was unbelievable, brother. You were just like, whoa, whoa, magic, light, magic, beam, float. My brother the wizard." Ian was a little bit proud of himself. He smiled. "Wow, I can't believe that worked," Ian said. "Oh, you're going to nail Dad's spell. I know it," said Barley. "Yeah," Ian said, "except we don't have the map. But we got this. Behold." Barley revealed the kid's menu he had snatched on the way out. "Look, on a quest, you got to use what you got. So what if it's a menu?" Barley pointed to a crayon signature. It says Kayla. "Best part is little Kayla already finished and solved the puzzle." So Ian took the menu and he studied the puzzle. Well, according to Kayla, we just have to look for Raven's Point. Raven's Point. And that rung a bell. There is a Raven's Point. He reached into the glove box and pulled out a real map and laid it across the dashboard and looked at the Manticore's cavern, followed the road, and there it was. Raven's Point. A mountain. Raven's Point. He was suddenly now taking all this very seriously. So far, Barley has been pretty much right about everything. Raven's Point is a real place. Oh, yes, the gem must be in the mountain. We can be there by tomorrow morning, said Barley. That still gives us plenty of time with Dad. Ian looked at their dad, and then he put his finger on the tavern, on the map, and he traced a route to Raven's Point. You know, Barley, the fastest way to get there, we can get there even quicker if we take the expressway. It should take us right there. Barley shook his head. Expressway's a little too obvious, brother. On a quest such as this, the clear path is never the right one. Ian scrunched up his face in confusion. What? Barley explained that during the quest of yore campaigns, he always followed his gut. You know what that means when you follow your gut? Doesn't mean you're hungry, although it could sometimes. But when you follow your gut, it means you're following your instincts, your intuition, your feelings. When you know something is right, when you know something is wrong, your gut will never lie to you. You're walking and you're getting ready to take a shortcut down a dark alley, but your gut tells you, listen to your gut. Don't go down the dark alley. Barley listens to his gut. And my gut is telling me we need to take an ancient trail called the Path of Peril. And he used his teeth to pull off a cap and showed Ian, sure enough, it was on the map. A small, skinny little road. It was on the map. It was real. But you know, the expressway would be so much faster. Maybe not in the long run, though, said Barley. Barley, I know you want this to be like one of your adventure games, I know. And brother, you've been right so far, but all that matters is that we get to spend as much time as possible with Dad. They stopped at a traffic light, and Barley thought about Ian's words. Dad moved to the front of the van. Barley patted his foot. So, we're going to take the expressway? Yes, said Ian. I guess you're right, said Barley. And when the light turned green, he steered the van on to the ramp that led to the expressway. Now, in the book, we're at what we call in class a time jump. And a time jump in a story is simply that. It either means that now the story has moved to some other time, maybe an hour later, the next day, a year later, or sometimes meanwhile. One word, meanwhile. Meanwhile simply means what's been happening up to now. Something else has been happening at the same time. And I have a feeling I know who this is going to tell us about. Somebody who's probably frantically looking for her boys. So, that's what this little time jump means. As they were doing this, this is also going on. Meanwhile, Laurel followed her GPS to the Manticore's tavern as she talked to Colt on the phone. He had called to see whether she had found the boys. No, not yet, said Laurel. And I'm a little worried because we had, well, a weird family thing happen. I'll tell you about it later. And this just isn't like Ian to run off. Barley, yes. But not Ian. You know it's late. You shouldn't have to be out there looking for 'em, said Colt. Oh, I know it's silly. And I'm sure both of them are probably on fire. Laurel said that as she rounded the corner and saw that the Manticore's tavern was completely engulfed in flames. Fire? Said Colt. Fire! The place is on fire, Colt. My boys, I gotta go. And she hung up. Bright lights flashed as firefighters battled the roaring flames. Laurel threw her car in park, leapt out, desperately searching for Barley and Ian. She was looking for them everywhere when she suddenly heard a voice mention 2 teenage elves. She followed it. She saw a gigantic manticore wrapped in a thermal blanket, talking to a police officer who was taking down her statement. Excuse me, those are my sons. Where did they go? Laurel asked urgently. They went on a quest to find the Phoenix gem, said the Manticore. But don't worry. I told them about the map, and about the gem, and about the curse. I forgot to tell them about the curse. The what? Said Laurel. Oh, boy, said the police officer. Ma'am, he was speaking to Laurel, can you come here for just a second? And he leaned into Laurel and said, this one's gone a little bit, cuckoo. Your boys are in grave danger, said the Manticore. But I can help. The officer stopped her. Whoa, because the Manticore was rising. No, you stay right there. You're not going anywhere. We've got questions for you, he said, and he guided her towards his police car. I know where your boys are going, the Manticore said. We can still save them. Laurel was desperate. She looked around, trying to figure out what to do. There was a first aid kit in an open ambulance nearby. This gave her an idea. Seconds later, she approached the Manticore and the police officer, who was taking down what the Manticore was saying. Last name, Manticore. First name, the... Hold on, Laurel interrupted, and she turned to the police officer. Officer, come here for just a moment. You're right. She has gone a little bit, cuckoo. But it's no wonder. Look at that. Look at her leg. Look at that wound. Well, that's just a scratch, ma'am, the officer said. Laurel pulled out a Quests of Yore card about the Manticore and waved it around like it was some official document. Oh, so suddenly you're an expert on minotaurs? I'm a Manticore. You're an expert on Manticore? Well, no, said the officer. Well, then you wouldn't know when their blood is exposed to air, it makes them go bonkers. You wouldn't know that, would you? I don't think that's true, the Manticore said. Laura pointed at her. See? Look, she's already losing her grip on reality. Fully embracing this role, Laurel stepped up to the officer. So, why don't you let me save her life before it costs you yours? The officer reluctantly agreed. Thank you, said Laurel. Could we please have a little privacy? So the officer stepped behind the police car, gave them some privacy, but he listened. As Laurel said, Now, just lie back, hon. That's good. Just don't take too long back there, okay? Said the officer. Hey, you hear me back there? And he turned and looked at the Manticore's silhouette. Silhouette. That's a great word. What do you think a silhouette is? Silhouette is when it's dark and something is lit from behind with a light and you just see the outline of them. So he saw the Manticore in silhouette. I said, don't take too long back there, the cop said. Okay, that's enough. I have to get her. And as he walked around the side of the car, he saw the source of the shadow, the source of the silhouette, the semi-melted head of the plush mascot. Laurel and Manticore were gone. The back of Laurel's car gave off sparks as it dragged against the asphalt, carrying the weight of the Manticore in its back seat. Remember, the Manticore is huge. All right, how do we help my boys? Asked Laurel. And she turned the steering wheel hard to race onto the expressway, slamming the Manticore against the door. Ooh, I'm gonna like you, said the Manticore, smiling over at Laurel. That's the end of chapter 8. So, our prediction about the boys getting the map, my prediction, that was not correct. The map had burned up in the flames. But Barley got another kind of map, a makeshift map, a map that showed where they needed to go. They needed to go to the mountain, because hopefully that's where the Phoenix Gem is. In the meanwhile, Laura's looking for her boys. And she, in an awesome way, got the Manticore away from the cops. And they're both in the car now, going to look for her sons. Absolutely. So the boys are on a quest. Mom and the Manticore are following them. The boys don't know they're coming, but they are perhaps going to save the day. I predict that the boys are going to get where they're supposed to go. They're going to get to this place, but I think they're going to run into another obstacle. Something else is going to slow them down. Maybe they'll meet someone else, don't know. I also think Laura and the Manticore, something's going to happen with them too. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I do think that they're finally going to catch up with them, but we'll see about that too. So what do you think? What do you think is going to happen in Chapter 9? Discuss it with whomever you're with. Here we are. We're going to read Chapter 9. As Barley drove, Ian sat next to Dad in the back of the van, looking down at the list he had made. He knew it was that time was ticking away, and as he thought about it, a heavy realization washed over him. Ian just realized something. Hey, Barley, we're not going to be able to get Dad back in time to see Mom. And a silence fell. Ian was right. There was nothing they could do to change it. Well, Dad, at least you won't have to meet the new guy. His name is Colt, said Barley, finding the bright side. And then he put up his finger to his face for a pretend mustache and did his best Colt impression. So you, are you working or hardly working? And he let out a horsey chuckle. Ian laughed. Barley, every time there's trouble, I gotta deal with you. And he cracked a proud smile. Ian was so proud of his performance. Is that your Colt impression? Said Barley. Yeah, said Ian. Oh, you might want to work on that. Suddenly the van began to sputter. Barley pulled off the expressway. No, please, come on, old girl. Come on, Guinevere. The engine wheezed one last time. The tires rolled a few more inches before the van finally came to a complete stop right on the side of the road. I thought you had fixed the van, said Ian with a groan. Relax, Guinevere's fine. Her stomach's just, a little empty. Ian glanced over at the gas gauge to see the needle was completely full. It says we have a full tank, Barley. Barley looked at Ian like he was crazy. Well, that doesn't work. And he climbed out, walked to the back of the van, and he pulled out a gas can. Ian watched as Barley shook the can. A tiny little splash of gasoline sloshed around at the bottom. They don't have enough gas. Oh, only a few drops left. Oh, maybe there's a gas station up ahead. Barley climbed on top of the van, and he looked out, around, but there was nothing in sight. Ian groaned, oh. But then he saw the magical staff. You think there could be a magical way we could get some gas? Barley gasped. Ooh, I like your thinking, young mage. And he stumbled and fell to the ground. Kapoosh. Then he popped back up, holding out the guidebook. Here, which showed an illustration of a wizard growing an apple 5 times its size. Growth spell. We grow the can, and then the gas inside will grow with it, right? It's kind of a weird idea, said Ian. I know, I like it too, Barley said. Ian muttered to himself as he held the staff. All right, Luke, loosen up. Hearts of fire, let's go, Ian said. Whoa, it's not that simple, said Barley, swaggering over to the van. And he turned to Dad and he added, oh, this one learns a little bit of magic and he thinks he's Shamblefoot the Wondrous. Oh, am I right, Dad? Barley didn't notice as Ian shot him an annoyed glance. A growth spell is a bit more advanced, said Barley. Not only do you have to speak from your heart's fire, but now you also have to follow a magical decree. A magical what? Said Barley. Barley held up the book. It's a special rule that keeps the spell working right. This one states, to magnify an object, you have to magnify your attention upon it. while you cast the spell. You can't let anything distract you. And he placed the nearly empty gas can on the ground. Ian stepped up and pointed the staff. Okay. And he took a deep breath. Ow! What? Barley said. Splinter, said Ian. Can we sand this thing down? No, said Barley. It's an ancient staff with magic in every glorious fiber. You can't sand it down. All right. Here we go, said Ian. Focus. And he held out the staff. Barley interrupted. What? Sorry. It's just your stance. You're standing all wrong, brother. Barley couldn't help intervening. So he stood behind Ian, wrapped his arms around him, and started moving his body like somebody trying to show him how to hold a golf club. He stood uncomfortably close as he maneuvered Ian's body, twisting it into an awkward pose. Chin up, elbows out, feet apart, back slightly arched. Okay, that's good. All right. How's that feel? Great, said Ian, frustrated. His patience was wearing thin. Barley touched his elbow, raising it just a little bit. And then he stepped back for a moment before adjusting it one more time. Ian shot him a look, and Barley finally moved away. All right. Finally, Ian read the spell aloud. Magnora Ganchuan. The staff lit up, and sparks flew, and he winced, but he did his best to stay focused. Then the ground began to throb. Finally, Ian read the spell again. Manganora Ganchuan. Don't let the magic spook you, whispered Barley. Okay, said Ian, wishing his brother would shut up. Elbows, keep your elbows up, said Barley. Shut up, Barley, Ian said. Ian lifted his elbows as high as possible. No, that's too high. That's too high, said Barley. I'm trying to focus here with the magic, Barley. Shh, exclaimed Ian. Yeah, focus. Go ahead, brother, focus. Go ahead. Ian tried with all his might to focus as the spell continued to throw sparks at him. Then the can began to grow. Excited, Barley whispered, Encouragement. Focus. Focus, brother. It's working. Barley, shouted Ian, please. Forget it. Ian lost all concentration. The spell just sputtered out, returning the gas can to its original size. And Ian sighed. It worked. The can is huge, said Barley in a squeaky voice. Ian looked down to see that Barley was tiny. His brother was about the size of a small water bottle. The magic worked, but it worked in the opposite way on Barley. And the van? The van? It's huge, said Barley. He looked up at Ian. And you're... Wait a minute. It suddenly dawned on Barley. Oh, no. Barley, what happened? Looks like you shrunk me, brother. And that's the end of chapter 9. So that's it. I'm loving it. I am loving it. Well, there's always problems. Every story has to have a problem. Every story that you've ever read that has ever been written has problems that aren't solved until the end. So there certainly have been a number of problems. This one is a pretty big problem. Barley's now that size. They have their dad, but only his legs. They're going to a place they've never been to retrieve a gem that could work or not work. Mom, Laura, was on the way with the Manticore. And it's all very exciting to me. Now, my prediction for the next chapter is I think Ian, who failed driver's ed, I think he's going to have to drive the van. Barley certainly can drive, unless unless Ian works some more magic and makes his brother grow again. But I don't know. So I think Ian's going to attempt to drive the van so they can get where they're going with little Barley sitting in the, maybe sitting in the glove box, I don't know. And Dad's legs just there patiently sitting. So we'll see. Chapters 8 and 9 were pretty cool, pretty adventurous. Chapter 10, we'll see what happens there. My prediction, I've already said it. You come up with one, and the next time we're together, that's what we'll find out. Take good care. Stay clean. Keep your hands away from, your eyes, your nose, and your mouth. Don't make your parents crazy. Enjoy yourselves. Pick up a book and do a read aloud the way I do it. Have a reader's theater where you can have a book and get up and perform a book for your family. Those my theater kids, write a script, put on a play, build sets, whatever. Have some fun. Do something creative. Having fun, being together, those are the most important things. Nothing else at this time matters. Nothing. So take care, and I'll see you soon. Let me get my finger on this thing. Bye-bye. Boy, my eyes look tired. I'm not really tired, but take care.